Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video we are back on the 130 after a little break for a week. Sorry about that, but we're going to be fitting the side panels, doing the apertures for the windows, doing the rear panels, and even looking at the new kitchen system we've got from ARB. So yes, I'm sure you've noticed the tash. That is for Movember. I won't bother putting a link down the bottom at the moment because I'll let you see how much it develops. And then if you feel that I've achieved a ridiculous status, you can donate towards prostate cancer. That would be great. But I'll save that for another video. For today, I'm going to start on this side panel. Now, I have already done one. I did one yesterday because I didn't want to look like a fool on camera doing it badly, and I want to make sure everything was all right. So I've tried to replicate the design that it had originally, and so there's a deep sort of trough channel here that the board will slide into, and then I'm supporting it with inch angle iron, aluminium angle iron, around the sides, bond it in with some tiger seal, and then later on we're possibly going to rivet it as well, but it really does seem very, very strong. So here we've got our aluminium channel. This is 2mm thick, so it's fairly sturdy, and what we're actually going to do is drill a series of holes in here and then mount that, drill it through and into the aluminium box section of the side. And this is a offcut of the board we're using. This is composite board, so it's got GRP, so fiberglass on the outside, it's got foam on the inside, high density foam, so it's really good for insulation, and it just drops in a treat. So that will be bonded in the channel when it's actually fitted finally. So we just have to get this to be the right length, and then we'll offer it up into place. So the easiest thing to do really is just to lay it in place and mark it. So it's going to sit there. And there's our cut. There we go. Right. So these are the screws I'm using. They've got a drill bit head on there that I'll cut in through to the aluminium, and they're nice and long, and that'll secure it in place. So the thing I like about this is, obviously, with our angle on the sides and the top, the panel should be protected from pushing outwards. Now, we will put some reinforcement on the inside as well, but the nice thing about this channel is, obviously, once it's locked in, you drop it in from the top, lock it in, it can't be pushed that way. So it's a lot more secure than just having a piece of angle iron. You could just like basically shove the whole panel. You're not going to be able to shove the whole panel from the bottom, even though this might break, but again, it's going to be strengthened from the inside. Now, I know I'm doing this wrong, but I'm more of a mechanic than a craftsman, so don't hate me. So yeah, this is the bit I've been struggling with. Basically, need to put a mitre on there. So in order to get the mitre correct, I found the best way was to lock that onto this piece of wood that I've got here. Then, once this is cut down, I'll lay it over, mark it, and that should give us a nice join. Okay, we've got our other side, and that will do nicely. Now, I've punched the holes ever so slightly off centre, and that is because it means the rivet gun can get in more easily. So, got it clamped in position. Right, we'll follow that all the way around, and hopefully we'll have our frame in place. I've measured the other panel, and I'm going to do this one slightly differently, and I'm going to do it how I used to do them for fitting windows to panels. So that's our top line, that's our side. Now I need to measure the depth of the window. I'm going to do it 42.5. For our corner radius, I'm going to use a masking tape roll, line it up on both of those there. Well, definitely got a nice shape. Let's hope it fits. Oh, we're in. Perfect. Look at that. Okay. There we go. So our window is now, that hole's the right size. Thank goodness. And now it's time to get this board in the vehicle. Let's pop this in for one last time without any sealer. And we're in. Right, for the next job, make sure you've got lots of wet wipes. Can't look at myself seriously, you know, on camera with this tash. Now, I got lucky last time and there wasn't too much overspill. I'm using Tiger Seal, so I'm going to do a wibbly line down here. Right, making sure you got the right, because it's got a nice face and a not so nice face. So we're going to drop it into the channel first. Okay. And then push it up against. Honestly, these wet wipes are brilliant because, well, apart from just making a mess of it there, they do clean it up a treat. So, well, I think that went pretty well, to be honest. Really happy with the boards. That one's now going off. That one's off already, and they're good and solid. We won't put the windows in yet because obviously we need to paint. I think it's going to be easier to paint those panels before we put the glass in, so there's no need to do that. Now, we've got to move on to this back section. So I've got a board that is the right size without these cutouts. So I've got to measure all of that 3 times, cut twice, and there's also a hole here for another window style thing that I will be installing. I'll be showing you that as well. That's pretty cool. That's going to go there. Well, I'll tell you what it is now. It's a hatch that opens up. It's the gullwing style hatches that you get for windows, but it's going to go at the back here. Now, you don't need to see all of it again, I guess, so I'm just going to measure it up. I'm going to fit my channel like I did on the sides, and we'll do this. This is the last one we've got to do, but I've got to cut these little corners out because there was a window in here, but we're actually just going to blank it off. So let's get stuck in. Well, that was a pretty big job, if I'm honest, and I'm not in my comfort zone doing these mitered cuts. So I would say it's 75% okay. There's a couple of little gaps which I'm actually going to use some metal, liquid metal to fill, because I think that would be better than trying just to allow the Tiger Seal to push through. So I'm going to use some of that, get them finished off so they look nice. But before I do that, I need to cut my template out to sit in there. Once we've got that in and I know it all fits, then I can put the liquid metal on some of these joins while I then cut the hole in the panel. So I'm going to use this liquid metal. So it hardens off like metal, and you can just apply it. It comes with a mixing syringe, if you like, that you attach, and then obviously I can just push it in from the back. But what I've done is I've put tape on the front, then I'll put it in from the back, and that'll give it a nice clean finish. When it's dry, I can just peel that off. You'll see this go through here, look. Can you see it mixing? That is all you need to do. Right, so we'll let that set, and while we let that set, we will, and you can just dispose of these, by the way, so you get 2 in the pack, but I've got some extras, so you can just chuck that, and or you leave it like that. Obviously that'll go hard, it won't go off, and you can just keep using that. It's really handy. Right, the next thing we're going to be fitting is this gullwing from Terra Firma. So it's designed to go inside your window aperture on the side of your vehicle. So it is the same size, but I've got all these bolts, so it's going to be the tolerance is a lot closer, basically, and it's going to bolt through So I'm probably going to have to make a supportive frame on the back, certainly a strip at the top, sides. I'll probably use angle iron, and then that'll basically sandwich this panel behind me, and it'll sit in there. But what I'm hoping I can do is use the template, the nice template that I cut out. I'm going to check. So this is one of my window templates, and the window did drop straight in with this. So if I offer it up, it should be to the exact size. Right, it is. That is going to work. So what I have to do is work out where it's going to go. I'd like to go as low as possible. I can't go too low because it's got to be mounted. But if I go about there, 16. So if I go 16 centimeters from the bottom, there we go. Okay, somehow that fits perfectly. It's just pushed in a treat. So look, so just dropped it, pushed it in, and there we have it. So that's really good. So that is where our locker's going to go. I can't wait to see it on the vehicle. Now I'm going to drill some holes through here. I'll mark them and then drill them, and then we're going to have to find some longer bolts and potentially just some penny washers for now, just to get it mounted up and make sure everything's how we want it. Oh, that is it. Just park it up against the skip. It's kind of looking like it should. That'll do. Cheers, mate. Now I am really pleased with the hatch. As I said before, I'm not a master craftsman when it comes to joinery and things like that, but I did manage to get that completely square and centralised, so I'm really pleased with that. That's obviously going to have a solid black metal lid on there, which flips up really high, and then it's going to have a drop-down shelf that comes down, and I'll be boxing it in. Now, this little unit in here, this is something I'm going to be testing next week. This is a cab heater, so it's a vehicle heater that is got a remote control. It's got a control panel on there. Now I'll tell you all about this in the next video, but I just give you an idea of how it's going to work. I was hoping and thinking maybe I could box it out and actually put it in here, but because it's got exhaust fumes, I think it might be better to put it on the outside when it's in use, and it is fully waterproof, so that is a really good option. And if I can just drop that down and have that come out, it's going to be perfect. Do you know what? I can't tell you how excited I am with the build at the moment. It's really coming together. I mean, it's taken a long time to get it to this stage, and I know they just look like panels to you, but to get everything boxed off and get all the floor in, to get all the doors on, it's starting to look like a real overland sort of off-grid camper. Now, we've got the kitchen in, and I've done this because obviously I know not all of you wanted to see me cutting panels and sticking them in. Let's keep it real and put some nice stuff in. So this is our ARB kitchen unit. It's fully self-supporting, which is great. It was super easy to fit. And basically, it's made up of, you've got your work surface here. You've actually got a swing-out stove, which is propane fueled. You've got a 3-burner hob. And then in a little drawer here, we've got our sink. So you just pop it out, drop it in. Now we've got an ARB fridge to install as well, and that's going to sit on top of this box, and it's on a slide drawer system. So when you're parked up and you're making your food, you basically just pull the fridge out here, open it up, and you're into it. It's going to be quite high, if I'm honest, so I might have to employ a bit of a step so you can look inside, but that's the only negative. But obviously we've got a big vehicle and we're sitting on top of this, but it means it will pull out and all be there, and I can put it back in again. It should be the perfect design. I'm really, really pleased. So you've really got everything you could want. You've got a bed down the bottom for 2. You've got a double bench with seat belts for safety. You've got a table. You've got seating for at least 1, possibly 2 people if you've got smaller kids sitting in there. And then that leads us on to the next part of the build, which will be probably after Christmas when we put the pop-top tent on the top, which we can access from inside as well. So it's just really coming together. I can't wait. I think we're going to get a few more bits and pieces done. I'm going to get the panels finished on the back, and I'm going to get the doors done next week, hopefully. And we'll almost be in a position where we can paint it, which is going to be a big deal because the transformation is going to be huge. So we'll have the doors, we'll have the back panel, we'll get it all painted. The windows will go in, we'll put our hatch, fit a hatch permanently on the back. We'll fit our drop-down table on the back. Then we'll put our awning on. Just so exciting, I can't wait. Now, I've already shown you the kitchen in place, but this is obviously how you've had to fit it. So we're going back in time slightly. It does sit flush. There's 2 mounting strips. So we have to drill a few holes, only 4 holes into the floor to get it mounted. But it's got this trim at the front. It's a plastic trim, and it's designed to actually sort of make it look nice when it's sat on top of another unit, but it's in our way. I can't see anywhere where it says how to remove it. So we're going to have to cut into the floor a little bit, because even if I remove this trim here, which I will, this bit on the side sits lower than our mount. So this has got to go. Actually, it looks quite neat, so we're in. That's good. Now, what we need to do is just open the drawer a little bit. Not too much, because it's going to tip out of the vehicle. But if we go round now, we should see our mounting points. So they've given us packers for the inside. These will sit in our galv channel there. And then we've got these very nice sort of foam-backed compression spreader plates that go underneath. So that's what we're going for. Now, this is supposed to be freestanding. Obviously, I've only got 2 bolts in it at the moment. But yeah, that's solid. So those are my others. There. And there. Oh, there's another one we can peel. And then we've got our drawer. Look at that. So that is our cooking station. I mean, you've got to admit, that's a nice, very presentable, wouldn't you say? Our hob. It's just nice because everything's around you. I can't think we'd ever lock this, but it is lockable. But the quality, I know it's an expensive bit of kit, but I tell you what, there is a serious amount of workmanship in this. I like this finish, and actually there's a good chance I might use the same carpet for the lower side panels, and then I'm going to go for something a little bit lighter at the top, probably in like a faux leather, just to make it a little bit nicer. But you can see how it all works. Stainless steel throughout. And it just comes out massively. So as I said before, self-supporting. Detail is amazing. So you've got the ARB logo in there, little latch here, so it doesn't come out on its own. You have to release the latch. Same with this. There's a little latch in here, which means you can then pull everything out and you can lock it in place with this. And then you've got your additional platform there. You could actually, if you wanted to, get a chopping board made up so you've got even more of a working surface, but I like the fact that you've got that kitchen sink, the collapsible sink in there. That's really good. So I said before, this is running off propane, so that has to go either to a propane bottle, which, do you know what, it might actually be easier just to keep a propane bottle in this rear storage locker. As I said, this is going to be boxed in, so we could keep the propane there, literally just take it out, put it on the floor and connect it up. If I can, I'm going to try and mount a bottle underneath the vehicle, but I don't want to compromise our ground clearance, but we'll see how we go with that. Maybe a small one for sort of like occasional use. But it really, really is coming together now. I couldn't be happier with how things are going. And I think when it's painted, it's going to look right. Obviously, it looks a bit odd now. It's all in different colours, but I think we will get there eventually. Now, if like me, you're super excited by this build, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything. It just means that you won't miss any videos. You'll be notified when I post a new one, and that's going to be every week. So Hope you're enjoying the build so far. Thanks for coming to watch, and I shall catch you on the next one. That's it.